Hi, my name is Sarah Alexander, and this is my Module 8, Legal Aspects of Teacher Evaluations. Teacher evaluations occur in order to promote growth and improvement through the teaching staff and throughout the evaluation process. The way that schools evaluate their staff varies based on the states. So all of the teacher evaluations are not the same throughout the United States. Traditionally, evaluations occurred through classroom observations, student work, lesson plans. These types of measures did not lead to growth. Because of this, there was a federal grant issued to districts who made policy changes related to teacher evaluations. And some of these new evaluation measures include observations that are connected to state standards related to the subject or grade level that is taught. It can include planned and unplanned observations. And it also includes student measures, but it is not based solely on these student measures. The Every Student Succeed Act was passed in 2015, and this act ensured that evaluations can include student growth, but they are not 100% focused on this or on state testing results. There were no federal mandates on education systems, including evaluations, so this is where the state takes over and the states get to set their own educational goals. Evaluations do need to include multiple measures, but again, these are not focused solely on student testing and student growth. There have been quite a few important evaluation lawsuits. A couple of the ones mentioned in the articles include Cook versus Bennett in 2013 and Robinson versus Stewart in 2011. And these are two examples of lawsuits that occurred in the state of Florida. The first case, Cook versus Bennett, was with the Florida Education Association, where teachers were being evaluated unfairly based on standardized tests. The Robinson case, merit pay provisions for teachers, it was ruled, both of these lawsuits were ruled in the favor of the states, not in the favor of the educator. The current evaluation process at my school in my district includes a pre-evaluation meeting. This includes all of the staff that are going through the evaluation process based on what year you are in the district. This is currently my second year in this district, and so I was evaluated my first year and then again this year, and I believe I will be evaluated quite a bit over the next couple of years until I am established in the district. After having a meeting with all of the staff that are going to be going through the evaluation process, there is a piece to identify student measures that are going to be used throughout this evaluation process for that school year. For example, this year, since I am a school counselor, the 3 student measures that I will be using include an individual, working with individual students. That measure I will be completing just working with one student individually and keeping track of their growth, working with me individually. I will also be conducting student measures involving small groups, which includes a pre and a post test for the small group topic, and then also a whole class before I teach a unit pre-test and then a post-test to determine growth. I also will be creating a feedback survey. There's a lot of flexibility in this survey as far as it can involve anyone that I work with. My options would be I could give it to students, parents, or to staff. Last year, my feedback survey was geared towards parents, and this year I'd like my survey to be focused more towards staff. After the feedback survey. We also have our observation, where there's a pre-observation meeting, the observation, which is planned, and then also a post-observation conference. There will also be another observation that is not planned, and that goes into the evaluation process. And finally, at the end of this process, there will be a final reflection form where I will be sitting down with my principal and discussing the results that she has included in my learning plan, and then I will get to say whether or not I agree or disagree with the evaluation process and with the evaluation results. In my district, going back to what I can do at the end when I'm reflecting on the evaluation process, this is when I can say whether or not I agree with the process and with the results. This is a form that is found on our district website, and it's part of my learning plan. A legal case against a district that I found was Lederman versus New York State. And this teacher was a veteran teacher, and she was marked overall effective as an educator, but one area where she was marked ineffective was in the student growth based on state testing. And this resulted in the favor of this teacher, and that part of her evaluation was taken away from her evaluation. It was removed from her evaluation. And then, in addition to that, the state of New York, they stated that there would be no state testing included on evaluations for the following 4 years. And this case was interesting because the teacher actually filed this lawsuit through her husband, who is a lawyer. And I know that there is talk of possible next steps and taking it a bit further. As a future leader, thinking through all of these different aspects of teacher evaluation, for me, the very first thing that I think I would like to focus on as a future leader is building relationships with staff. I think that goes back to encouraging growth and encouraging and fostering a relationship that allows people, staff, to feel comfortable in talking and communicating and building upon the skills that they have. So I believe it starts with a solid relationship with your staff. I also want to make sure that evaluations are personalized. I want to take the time to sit down with staff and talk about, what do you really want to focus on this year? What would be an area that you would like to improve upon? I also find it extremely important to include those multiple measures, because there are so many different facets of education and of teaching. And although, student growth can give a bit of information as far as how students are learning in your classroom, that is not the entire picture. And I want to include those different ways to show the different areas of education and what it means to be a successful educator. Here are the references that I used to create this presentation, and thank you so much for listening.